creating opportunities for more direct integration of the physical world into computer-based systems, resulting in efficiency, improvements, economic benefits, and reduced human exertion. Everything that operates with electricity will be connected to the internet, as well as many things that don't use electricity. Clothing will conduct electricity. They already have it, okay? Clothing will be connected to the internet. That clothing will monitor your heart rate. Look, any of you have right? This monitors my heart rate right now, okay? It tells me how many steps I take and all kinds of other things. And many of them have a GPS, so they track where you are. Your clothing in the future will do that. They have clothing already that will do that. Athletes are using it. And it'll monitor your vital functions at all times. And it's not just that you can look at it, it will be connected to the internet, and you can be monitored. In 2015, 4 billion devices were connected. Today, if you can read that, in 2020, that's in a year and a half, there'll be 50 billion devices connected, and in less than 12 years, there'll be 1 trillion devices connected to the internet. Virtual reality and augmented reality. Have any of you put on a virtual reality headset? Who has? Okay, a handful of you. Does that not blow your mind? I've done it once. I went to a department store. They were testing them. I put one on. Okay? And at that moment that I put it on, I was flying on the back of a dragon. I was flying, and it was so real. And I could turn my head, and this wing was flapping, and I could turn my head, and this wing was flapping. It was real. And ladies, let me tell you what's going to happen. You're going to put on your virtual reality headset, and you're going to go to Nordstrom. No, I'm not kidding. And you're going to walk down the aisle of Nordstrom, and you're going to look at the dresses. And you're going to pick one up, and you're going to hold it and look at it, and you're going to decide which one you want to buy, and you're going to order it. I'm not kidding. That is what is coming. We already have virtual reality, and Nathan knows this, they're making advances very quickly. Augmented reality. You will take your phone, you will point it at that dress you want to buy at Nordstrom. Maybe you'll be in Nordstrom, and you'll point it at that dress. And when you do that, your phone will tell you, it'll give you reviews, prices, sizes, inventory, whatever you want. You can point your phone's camera, at a football player, your favorite football player on TV, okay? And it will give you all of that player's statistics. Okay? It'll show you video highlight reels of that player. Just like that. Augmented reality. The Japanese youth are very involved in this. Far more so than what our kids are here. And a lot of the Japanese youth, a large number of them have lost touch with reality. I was going to say, even today, people here are going down what I call the rabbit hole of technology. Referring to Alice in Wonderland, they're going down the rabbit hole. We've all been down the rabbit hole, haven't we? You know what I'm talking about? You turn on the computer, you go online, and you get sucked in. You look at your iPhone, your iPad, your Android, even television, and you get sucked into technology. I call that going down the rabbit hole because you go in and you never get back out again. Come on, you all know what I'm talking about, right? Yeah, I do it. Next slide. Hikikomori is a Japanese term, it's called pulling inward. After years of self-imposed isolation, literally having never left his parents' house, a 17-year-old kid in Japan finally walked outside. I can't say that name. Niyomogucha hopped on a bus, and after 40 minutes he stood up, pulled knives out of his jacket, hijacked the bus, and held 20 people hostage for 15 hours. He killed a passenger and stabbed 3 women in the neck. Look, this is where we're living today. This is where a lot of the young people are living today, and that's in Japan. You can tell by what kind of artwork is that, Dan? Anime, that's it. So you can see all the anime on there. So that's the Japanese, and that's how they're living. Even, baby boomers, Gen Xers, we didn't have this technology. Okay? We talked to each other, right? We communicated with each other. We got together. But today, the young people and all of us are spending more and more time on technology, and we're isolating ourselves. We're pulling in. And the Bible says that it's not good for man to be alone. That's true. It's not good for man or woman to be alone. It's not healthy. And with technology, that's exactly what we're doing. We're isolating ourselves. The Bible says, on the previous slide, what does it say? There it is. And because lawlessness will abound, the love of many will grow cold. And that's what we're seeing. With people isolating themselves, we're seeing the love of many growing cold. Just like the Bible says. Okay? But again, that evolves around technology. Next, big data. Big data. First, data creation. Every day in 2015, and this is from 2015-16, we sent 205 billion emails. No, wait a minute. 205 billion emails per day. Per day. We ran 3.5 million Google searches. We tweeted 500 million times, downloaded 200 million apps, and uploaded enough videos that it would take 49 years to watch them. IBM says that in just the last 2 years, we created 90% of all of the data that's ever been created. Now think about that. In the last 2 years, how much data is that? Wow. And I could go on and on. I'm just giving you a brief overview. It's so much more. So what do you do with all this data? Well, wait a minute. Where's this data coming from? It's not just emails, right? We got Twitter, Facebook, emails, text messages, Skype, GPS, credit card information. We got banking. We got online purchases. You can go on and on and on and on. Everything's connected to the internet. And all this data, do you think that data just disappears? Anything you have put on Facebook, it is there for eternity. Any text you sent, it is there. It is never going away. It is stored. Data storage. A 6 terabyte hard drive can store all the music ever recorded for under $230. You saw the battery in that phone, right? How big are batteries now in cell phones? And how much data does all this it's amazing. Go to the next slide. This is a server farm. Okay? And they have these all over the world. And actually, I think that one's actually antiquated. They have these big buildings in Richardson. You can see them. They're like at near Collins and Arapahoe. They have server farms in Richardson. And these massive server farms store all this data. Okay? All your data. Today, when you go for a job interview, right? They do a background check. They can within a second, pull up your entire credit history, your education records, you name it. They can pull it up. And by the way, this is what's going to happen to your medical records too. Your medical records this is what's going to happen. They're all going to be stored in one place. We'll go to single payer, and they'll all be accessed. They're going to know everything about your health. Everything. Data usage, algorithm. An algorithm is a set of guidelines to describe how to perform a task. So all that happens is all this data is stored on you. They run an algorithm that says, we want to know this, and this. Because we want to see if it meets this criteria or get this result. And they run it. So if it's a credit card company wanted to give you credit, or a bank wanted to give you a credit, or a home loan, or if it's a doctor or artificial intelligence wanting to determine what's wrong with you, they run an algorithm and see what comes up. And we'll get more into that in a minute. How many of you have seen the movie Minority Report with Tom Cruise? A couple of you? You know what I'm talking about. So in Minority Report with Tom Cruise, in the movie, they arrest you before you commit the crime. They run an algorithm, and I'm going to go over this again, mention this again in a minute, but they look at your criminal background, they look at your history, they look at your mental state, they look at all these, an algorithm, look at all these parameters, and they go arrest you before you commit the crime. Just wait. All right, next slide. The ultimate data center, your body. I mentioned this earlier, wearables and bioinformatics. It's a continuous measurement and analyzing of hundreds of your body's metrics, 250,000 times as fast as traditional methods. You will wear clothing, like I said, or monitors. Right now, it measures heart rate. It measures, they're going to measure brain waves. They're going to have all these hundreds of parameters that they're going to measure on your body. That's all going to be tracked. It's all going to be done through clothing. Okay? And like I said, they're doing that now. Watson. Anybody know about Watson? IBM computer Watson? Yeah. Developed by IBM in 2016. Well, let me tell you what Watson did first. Watson challenged the two winningest contestants on Jeopardy. It's a computer developed by IBM. It's artificial intelligence. And it learns. It learns. And it beat both of them. Hands down. Okay? And at that time, when it did that, it was a big deal. It was the size of a large bedroom. That's how big the computer was, the size of a large bedroom. Today, or in 2016, that computer was the size of 3 pizza boxes. Okay? And it was 23,000 times faster. So if it could do that in 2011, I guess it was, what could it do now? And they say that by 2050, Watson will be the size of a grain of rice and infinitely faster. Nanotechnology. So what they're using Watson for now at a lot of hospitals is they're taking taking a patient, whereas doctors are I think 60% accurate on diagnosing cancer and what type of cancer you have. Watson is 95% accurate. They put in the parameters, it runs an algorithm, and it looks at thousands of genetic factors and DNA and previous cases, and within a matter of 10 minutes, it gives an accurate diagnosis and accurate treatment for cancer. And just as a side note that I did put in here, they expect that people in general will be living, many people will be living well into their hundreds. Many of you young people today will live into your hundreds if Christ doesn't return. But with the technology they have today, things are changing. And then, of course, some of us have already been taking advantage of this technology. Look at Bill Wade. He's 104. Next slide. Nanotechnology, the manipulation of individual atoms and molecules to create or improve a product. Scientists are now manipulating individual atoms at the atomic level. And it's already in products. I promise you, you're already using products that have been manipulated by nanotechnology. Here's an example. Very soon, in fact, very, very soon, like this year or next, your smartphone will be able to project a holographic image. Okay? An image that hovers above your phone using projectors the size of a little Tic Tac candy. In the future, in the very near future, when you watch television, the television will be in the center of the room. The couches, the chairs will go around the television, and you will watch a holographic image. And everybody who watches the show that's on television, the movie, it'll be in 3D. And you'll all see it from a different perspective. Well, what difference does that make? All this stuff, what difference does it make? Think about some of the things that Scripture says. Okay? And tie it together. I'll get into that in a minute. Programmable artificial blood cells. Okay, this is really cool. They will inject nanites into and they're programmed. These are nanites or blood cells, artificial, that have been programmed. They will inject them into your bloodstream, and those programmed blood cells or nanites will go into your body. This is Star Trek. This is Star Trek. They will go into your body. They will find the cancer cells or whatever disease it is, and they will kill them. Okay? Is that not amazing? It's like unbelievable. Graphene. And graphene is here now. I have a paint that I can buy right now with graphene in it. What is graphene? The world's first two-dimensional product. What does that mean? It means it's only one atom thick. Yeah. The world's first two-dimensional product, the thinnest material known, 200 times as strong as steel, as pliable as rubber, and almost completely transparent. It's translucent. It transmits. 95% of the light will pass through it. Now, wait a minute. It's 200 times stronger than steel. It's as pliable as rubber. And it transmits light. Really? They're going to use it in paint. They're using it for body armor for soldiers. Okay? It makes batteries super fast. Super small and super fast. It will filter seawater. It filters seawater. It takes the salt out of seawater. Smart clothing. You will wear clothing that's made of graphene, and it is like little LEDs all over your body, and you could literally be a walking advertisement. Do you understand? It will literally, you could show a movie on the shirt. It conducts electricity. Electricity will flow with zero resistance through graphene. Next slide. Well, this is great for us, but what difference does it make to all these people in Zambia? Or somewhere else in Africa? Or some third world nation? Who cares? They don't care about this. They don't even have internet. Yes, they do. They do now. How do all these people all over the world, how do they take the mark during the tribulation? How do they do that? How do they get tracked? How are they controlled? How is that possible? When I was 20 years old, I thought about this stuff and I thought, there's no way this could happen. This is ridiculous. How is God going to make this happen? How is it possible? Of course, I didn't even know about the internet when I was 20 years old. There wasn't an internet that I knew of. SpaceX is putting 400 satellites into low Earth orbit. OneWeb will launch 900 microsatellites by 2019. Facebook has unmanned solar-powered aircraft. And by the way, its wingspan on these solar-powered aircraft are longer than a Boeing 747. They fly at 60,000 feet. And Google's Loon project, which has already been launched, thousands of balloons, 65,000 feet. And then Li-Fi wireless technology is 100 times as fast as Wi-Fi, transmits data via visible light. It transmits data via visible light, with LED home light bulbs becoming wireless routers. Does that blow your mind or what? Everybody will have internet. Everybody will have internet. Because everybody has to have banking. Everybody will have to have banking. I'll tell you why in a minute. The internet can handle 4.9 billion devices. The internet today is at capacity. In 2020, a new internet platform will be launched. That's in a year and a half. With the capacity to handle 78 octillion, that's octillion with an O, octillion devices. That's 78 billion devices. In other words, every grain of sand on Earth could have 1 trillion IP addresses. I already talked about biowearables. I'll pass that. Oh, yeah, no, tattoos. Okay. There's a company that's come out with tech tats. If you like tattoos, get a tech tat. High-tech tattoos that collect, store, and send and receive data. Whoa, wait a minute. How are we going to get marked? How are we going to get marked? Well, you just get a tech tat. Yeah. I mean, because after they can collect data, they can store data, they can send and receive data. There you go. Were you all wondering how it was going to happen? How we were going to get marked? Do you want a tech tat? Or do you just want a little chip the size of a grain of rice implanted? Your choice. We talked about biowearables, the tech tats, clothing. Oh, here we go. I'm reading a book by Rick Edelman, The Truth About Your Future. Here's what he says, quote, biowearables. He's talking about tech tats. It could monitor your vital signs after surgery. That was so nice. Let you pay your bill with the swipe of your hand, or provide password authentication. Tech tats. Coming to a store near you. Next, blockchain technology. Golly, what time is it? I got time. Blockchain technology. Anybody know about blockchain technology? Raise your hand. Blockchain. You spent too much time with me, Marlene. Blockchain is an incorruptible digital ledger of economic transactions that can be programmed to record not just financial transactions, but virtually everything of value. Blockchain technology, digital currency, Bitcoin. Currencies are going away as we know them, and soon. Countries are already moving away from paper currencies. They won't be around much longer. I believe that with the next economic collapse that will come, okay, Trump won't always be president, there will be an economic collapse. And when it comes, I believe they will forgive debt, not our debt, but the debt of governments. They will move to a new digital currency, and it's going to be based on blockchain. But it's not just currency. It's complicated and way more complicated than I can't even describe it. But I'm telling you that everything that you see here will be done with blockchain technology. Okay? When you go to purchase a home, there will be no banks. Okay? The banks will go away. They won't be necessary. Your title company, when you buy a home, will not be necessary. All of these things, it's all going to be done. It's all going to be digitized, and it's all going to be done via the internet. Okay? And everything will be stored. I want you guys to get the big picture here. How could the Antichrist, how could a one-world government under control of the Antichrist possibly do the things that are described in Scripture? Identity theft protection. Next slide. Proteus Digital Health has created a pill powered by stomach acid that creates an 18-bit digital signal. It turns your body into an authentication token. What does that mean? It means you don't need passwords or ID cards anymore. You are your authentication. You are the password. It's inside you. It's you. It's blowing your mind, isn't it? Scary, too. Oh, here we go back. This is good. Chicago Police Department, you wouldn't know it, uses an algorithm to help predict who will commit or be a victim of gun violence. Created by the Illinois Institute of Technology, the algorithm scores people based on their criminal records, gang affiliations, employment status, drug history, etc. The Minority Report, Tom Cruise. There we go. So again, the same question. What would the technology I have described today allow the authoritarian rule to take place today, the Antichrist? Look, do you see it? Or is it just me? The second beast was given power to give breath to the image of the first beast, so that the image could speak and cause all who refused to worship the image to be killed. It also forced all people, great and small, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on their right hands or on their foreheads, so that they could not buy or sell unless they had the mark, which is the name of the beast or the number of its name. Now, the good news. We won't be here. If you're saved, if you're a born-again Christian, you won't be here. So how about some verses that make us feel better than what this technology makes me feel? Then we who are alive, who are left, will be caught up together with them in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air, and so will always be with the Lord. 1 Thessalonians. And if I go to prepare a place for you, I will come again and will take you to myself, that where I am, you may be also. We won't be here. Make you feel good? But concerning that day or hour, No one knows, not even the angels in heaven, nor the Son, but only the Father. Be on guard. Keep awake. For you do not know when the time will come. Finally, because you have kept my word about patient endurance, I will keep you from the hour of trial that is coming on the whole world to try those who dwell on the earth. If you're saved, born again, Christian, you have nothing to worry about. These technologies shouldn't scare you. They shouldn't concern you. Well, maybe a little. Be careful with Facebook, okay? Next slide. My first point is to understand how technology could tie in with end times, with the tribulation, okay? Try to take a look at that. My next point is that God is sovereign. Our technology does not determine when Christ returns. God determines when Christ returns. In Isaiah it says, declaring the end from the beginning, and from ancient times things not yet done, saying, my counsel shall stand, and I will accomplish all my purpose. John Piper said about this that God declares how things turn out long before they ever happen, and that God will declare not just natural events but human events, doing things that are not yet done. God is in control, not our technology. Okay? It doesn't matter what technology is going on today, all these things that are coming in the future. Let me point out a few other bits of technology. An EMP. If there were an electromagnetic pulse or a solar flare, one created by man, one created by God, all these things I just described to you would be wiped out in an instant, and we'd be set back 100 years. You don't know when God's going to come. Okay? Yellowstone. How many of y'all know what's happening at Yellowstone? Yeah. It's the largest volcano in the world, and scientists are afraid that it's going to erupt. And if it does erupt, or when it does erupt, because it will, and it's due to erupt, it will destroy America's breadbasket. It will wipe out the entire central U.S. You know how the Bible talks about everything going dark all around the earth? Yellowstone would do that. That's how bad it is. Power grid failure. Both the Chinese and the Russians have hacked our power grids and our infrastructure. And we know that they can shut down our power grid if they choose to. And we can probably do the same to them. Okay, cyber, we're already involved in a war. It's called a cyber war. And we're constantly enduring cyber attacks. And a lot of times when you say, oh, all of United, I noticed I didn't say American, all of United's airlines are shut down. They're not flying today. They're all grounded. It was a computer glitch. No, it wasn't. They got hacked. They got hacked. Okay? My point here is to say that God is sovereign and that He'll determine the time, the hour, not our technology. And we all live in a normalcy bias, thinking that things are going to continue as they are. They don't. They don't. And in a moment, it can all change. Next slide. So, the rapture has occurred. This is really the point of my message here. The rapture has occurred, and we have those who remain. And there's two groups. The first group is those who hate God or never heard the gospel and they don't know anything. Or they know they rejected God. For although they knew God, they did not honor Him as God or give thanks to Him. But they became futile in their thinking, and their foolish hearts were darkened. Now, what about these people who rejected God. And even though the rapture has occurred, they still reject God. I mean, obviously they do, because God has to keep judging the earth. What's in their mind? What are they thinking? All these people just disappeared? How are they going to rationalize that? Have you thought about how they're going to rationalize the disappearance of millions of people? I hope it's millions. Especially here in America. How are they going to I believe that a lot of what we're seeing on television with alien movies, I believe that they're going to believe that aliens took us. I think they'll actually believe that, because they're going to have an excuse. Why did this happen? There can't be a God. Let's talk about the second group. Those who get saved during the tribulation, Jew and Gentile. And I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seal of the living God. And he cried with a loud voice to the four angels, to whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea, saying, hurt not the earth, neither the sea nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of our God in their foreheads. Those who get saved during the tribulation. What does that mean? How does that happen? What does that look like? Please raise your hands. Has anybody thought about that? Has anybody thought about what your granddaughter will do if she's not saved, but you've witnessed to her, your coworker? What will they do? Can I illustrate? You're talking to your grandchild, your grandson. You've witnessed to them. You've prayed for them. You're talking to them, bear with me, and in a moment, just like that. Now watch me. When I clap my hands, grandparent, you're going to disappear, and I'm going to become your grandchild. Okay? Oh, it's true! It's true! Oh my God, take me! God, please take me! It's true! It's true! Please take me! Take me! Don't leave me! God, I accept you! I accept you! I believe in you! It's true! Am I right? Am I right? On a bus, on a plane, walking down the street, there are going to be people who drop. Do you get it? They drop to their knees and they accept Christ right then and there. And nothing will change their mind. You can mark them, you can torture them, it doesn't matter. They believe. They're going to believe, if it's possible, more than you even thought of ever believing. Like we're wishy-washy. We're mamby-pamby. We play church. These people are going to believe. Do you get it? And it's going to be your grandkids and your coworkers. It's going to be your kids. And you better hope it's nobody in here. Wake up. I want you to understand where we could be today. That the rapture could occur now. And who will be left? We think that the rapture is not real to us, other than we're just going. We're gone. We don't care about the tribulation. We're not going to be here. But your loved ones will be. Next slide. Yep. Next slide. Last slide. I want you to understand, because the majority of this people in this church, I'll be kind, are over 50. Okay, 40. All right? Your prayers, if the rapture occurred today, your prayers go into the tribulation. God doesn't quit answering prayers. Brother Barney's gone. I can think of so many people that are gone. My mom's gone. But she prayed for me. It mattered. God answers prayer. Sometimes He answers prayer when you're gone. You're not around anymore. And your prayer gets answered. Think about that. There's not a time limit on God answering prayers. Witnessing. If the rapture occurred today, tomorrow, the people that you've witnessed to, it's going to hit them. Right then and there. The gospel tract that you gave out, your life testimony, your good works, the money that you gave to the Gideons. Who's going to read a Gideon Bible during the tribulation? A lot of people. A lot of people. Get me a Bible. Get me a Bible. I want to see what it says. I want to see what it says. What happened? My point of today's message. The title was called Paying It Forward. That's really what we're doing, isn't it? I changed it. That's praying it forward. Everything that we're doing today with our lives, our prayers, our witnessing, how we behave, our testimony, our good works, and the money that we give. When we tithe, we give to the church, we give to missions. It matters. It matters. In the tribulation, if it occurs, the rapture occurs today, it matters. I wanted to make an impact on all of you today. I wanted you to think about this. Your life matters. A lot of you are older. A lot of you have health problems. You can't work in the nursery. You can't do the things you used to do. But I'm telling you that you matter to God. That your prayers matter to God. That your testimony matters to God. That your example to these young people, it matters to God. That you matter. The Ernst, driving from Canton, week in and week out, even after surgeries. That's a testimony, and it matters. It matters. You matter. Let's pray. Lord God, help us to understand this. Help us to take it to heart. Help us to see things from your perspective. Help us to see the lost from your perspective. Help us to see the world from your perspective. Lord, help us to understand the rapture. Lord, whenever it occurs, we get to go home. Lord, but there'll be so many that don't. We have to be a testimony and a witness to them now. Help us to be that witness, to pray for them, to care. Lord, thank you for your Son, Jesus Christ, who died for our sins, who loves us, who cares for us, and who's coming back for us. Lord, what a privilege it is to be your child, a Christian. when we in no way deserve it. We in no way deserve it. You're so good to us. Thank you, God. Help us, Lord, to do your will, to be obedient to your word. In Jesus' name I pray.